everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hugs Through Shrugs. I'm Kathy.
I'm Mary.
And guess where we are? We're in our favorite place.
Back in Newport.
Woo!
Now, we did mean to record more extensively from New Jersey Sheep and Wool, but that was really very busy.
It was.
And then we meant to podcast from Rhinebeck, and that didn't happen. Well, the weather, we can get into our weekend in Rhinebeck, which was very relaxing for me. But we didn't have a chance to podcast from there. So the last big episode, we were in Newport, which was back in July. This is now November 2021.
And look how beautiful our favorite church is in the background. Yeah. Oh, darn. We can't see the top.
It's okay. Did it disappear?
No.
Okay, wait. There's our church.
Oh! That is the church.
Trust us, it's back there. And we'll pan around later because we're so excited to share this great space.
It's really beautiful.
Okay, there's so much to talk about. And we should start with the fact, so it's November 2021.
Yes.
And our plan was to come last night. But we've been really busy. And like any creative people, we tend to get so many ideas. It's hard to find the time to finish everything. And we literally were working last night until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I had the knit group over. My wonderful volunteers were at my house yesterday until 3 o'clock, and I said to them, in 3 hours we're going to Newport. But then I just decided, let me just finish up what I have to do so we won't have anything to finish up here. And we decided to head out this morning. We literally got out of the car half an hour ago.
Yeah, and we wanted to podcast because it looks so beautiful up here and before the sun goes down.
We're just so excited to be here. So we have a very exciting couple of days. Last time we were here, we approached Michelle at Knitting Needles and told her about the Gilded Age mansion yarns.
Yep.
And then when we did Sheep and Wool, like 6 weeks later, we came up with the postcards from Newport that we showed you guys from Sheep and Wool that Michelle has not seen yet.
Right.
And then between, it was after Sheep and Wool.
Yeah.
It was probably
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, maybe we came up
3
with
weeks
another
ago.
idea. So
we gotta turn these guys off.
And this was a lot of work to put together this last idea, which we can show you guys. But we're back in this wonderful place. So many things. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
And our voices. So it's a 4-hour drive from us to get from New Jersey up here.
And we do nothing. We talk the entire time.
I don't know what you were looking at when you said, "No, it's only 11:20. We've only been in the car for an hour."
It said 11:40. She says, "What time is it?" I said, "It's 11:40." I said, "It's going really fast." She said, "It can't be."
That's the clock.
And then, it was 1:30.
1:30. So we had like half an hour to go. So 3.5 hours, nonstop talking.
Yeah, and planning and taking notes and
at one point,
ideas.
More ideas.
Yeah.
So we have a whole to-do list of ideas. Somehow, a couple of them we want to try to pull off before we go to Michelle's tomorrow.
Yes.
So.
We'll be up late.
But that's okay, because we're here and I have instant energy when we're here.
Plus the coffee from the creamery.
Yes, we did eat at the Newport Creamery. That's our favorite.
And barely could get out of the car.
And we're like, oh my God, that was a totally different experience for us. We usually stop at the 2-hour point. We did the full 4 hours.
Yes.
I mean, one time I blinked and I said, did that sign just say, "Welcome to Rhode Island"? I said, what happened to Mystic, Connecticut? Because we were just here.
Just blew through.
And I guess I was weaving a little bit.
The car says, stop for coffee or something.
The little coffee cup kept showing up on my dashboard. Yeah. So this is pure adrenaline that we're going on. So happy to be
and
here.
And late night coffee, perfect.
Yeah, we still have to go to Stop and Shop to get some supplies, and we have a Zoom with Anderson Cooper at 5:30. So as members of the Historical Society, and I already listened to Anderson's new book on the Vanderbilts, 5:30 we'll be in a Zoom with him. So
yay!
I'm
very
excited for that.
because he's a big part of Newport and his family and the Breakers and everything. So.
I can't even imagine him. And he doesn't really consider himself so much a Vanderbilt, but now that he has his little son Wyatt, he's really bringing back the
Some of
family
his
history so he
history.
could share it.
Yeah.
And thank goodness he did that wonderful documentary with his mom.
Yeah.
Not that
That's
long
so
ago.
nice.
And that, what a good son.
Yeah, that's
So,
lovely. I love their relationship. And I just finished Zooming FaceTiming my son on the phone to show him the place we're staying because it was so great. And he's like, wish I was there.
So we've never stayed in this building
No.
before.
Well,
we've
you
stayed in
stayed-
that
right.
condo. I've been in this building. So the first time I came to Newport by myself, well, friends of ours shared this place with us. They have been coming to Newport for 25 years, the Vitalis. And Brian kept saying, you have to come to Newport. And we're New Jersey. We're Jersey Shore people. We know the ocean. We know the beach. And it was like, yeah, you've seen one beach, seen them all. Finally, he nagged us so badly. And actually, Diane said, no, you really might like it. There's mansions, and it's really interesting. Doris
is.
Duke has a mansion. And I'm like, well, all right, there's history. It sounds a little bit different. So John brings me up here, and 4 hours is a lot more than the hour and 15 it takes me to get to our place at the Jersey Shore. And we're driving, and we're driving, and we're driving. And then we get off of 95, and it's still another 45 minutes or so after 95. And I'm thinking, where is this place? Then we hit the first bridge, which is like that Jamestown Bridge, the bridge taking you over to Jamestown. And it was so different looking. With
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
they
Really
moor all these boats in the I guess, it's not called a harbor there, but it's like protected because it's
inlet, maybe?
I
don't know.
guess, but it's water in between the two pieces of land that's not very big. But I'm looking at all these boats moored because it was the summer the first time we came. And I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. And then we came, excuse me, over the Newport Bridge. And the Newport Bridge just makes me smile. It's like the entrance gates to Disney World.
Yeah,
From the
it's
first
really
time I saw that bridge, right? And the
It's
first time you saw
beautiful.
it too.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
like,
very,
wow.
very big bridge.
Yeah, we love Cape May too. So like we like historic towns, and this is just loaded with history. It's just amazing. I mean, the architecture, the streets themselves, like Thames is cobblestone.
Cobblestones.
It's just so beautiful.
So old.
Yeah,
And
love it. And the mansions.
the mansions and the point, like last time in our July episode, we took you to these different areas.
Yeah.
You go from giant mansions to the colonial homes that were
Right.
here for so much longer. And it's just, there's always something to do. So we came over the bridge, and John and I had lunch with Diane and Brian, and then Brian takes us to the cliff walk. And again, I didn't,
Sorry,
that's okay.
my son again.
Do you want to get it?
No, he's fine.
You sure?
Yep. You go ahead.
We should have brought him. We have
I
room
know.
to spare
My
here.
son really
He's
can't
dying
wait
to see.
come, but
Dying to
he's
see.
working, so he can't come.
Anyway,
There's your shout out, Eddie.
so now after lunch, Brian's taking us to the cliff walk where we drove through the town. This is my first look at the town. And from the first time I saw the intersection of Bellevue Avenue and Memorial, it's like, oh my God, this place is so awesome. And then we saw the mansions, then just so much else. So really love at first sight for me
Yeah,
with this
it's
place.
gorgeous.
And I just share it with everybody. And sadly, Brian passed away a year ago yesterday. And I think he'd be really excited with, he loved to share things with people. And he loved when people were excited about the things. And the fact that we now have an entire yarn line devoted to Newport. And being from New Jersey, you kind of have to know the history, and even the history that comes after that, which maybe we'll get into sometime.
I think it's making him smile.
I think it is too. He passed away a year ago yesterday, and to be debuting these yarns too, I think he would really like that.
Yeah.
And then we could get into more details about the first time I stayed here alone when I had come to a weaving conference. I did stay in the hotel that's right next to us, and I spent a winter in a condo downstairs, but this is the first time I've been upstairs in this building.
Yeah.
And like Kath pointed out, our church, which is right across the parking lot, when I stayed in this building, every Sunday I walked to Mass right there. That's where I met a lot of very interesting people. That was probably my third winter here. The first 2 winters I stayed closer to St. Mary's Church, Catholic church, where I'd walk to church every Sunday there too. So
Yeah, well, you could walk to so many places here. It's really great.
it just makes it, you feel so much more part of things when you walk
Yes.
instead of driving. So As Kat said, welcome to Hugs Through Shrugs, but I think we're starting to become more Shrug Hug Yarns.
Right, yes, which I had to do that 3 times because I kept saying Shrug Hug Yarns because that's who we have morphed into, and I had to keep doing it so I would get it right. So we were Hugs Through Shrugs, which we still are, but we are more known for our Shrug Hug Yarns, which is the way that we fundraise to support the charity. So, and we did at Sheep and Wool, we kind of debuted the yarns and
the postcards from Newport Yarns.
Yeah, that went so well. Great people. Oh my gosh! And then I wound up running into the bead biz lady.
Oh yeah.
At Rhinebeck, who I love her. She's so nice, and her partner, they're so sweet. And I bought one of their kits, so I'm going to be doing a Tunisian thing with beads, and I can't wait.
Interesting, because we're knitters, and when we had a yarn shop, we were only knitters, and then Tunisian crochet crept in slowly over our story over the past bunch of years since we closed our yarn shop. Actually, I started to Tunisian crochet. I saw a book in Barnes & Noble, and it was the only book facing out, so I could see the cover, and the girl was wearing the shawl, and it looked woven, and it was Tunisian crochet, and I'm like, I've heard of Tunisian crochet, but I didn't realize it could look like that, because I'm used to it looking
dense.
So tight. And this was a beautiful shawl, and it's an interesting thing to watch people do. So it became a great conversation starter. I would come up here to Newport, and I would knit in a Tunisian crochet in a park, and people would stop and say, "What is that?" Because it's
not crochet really, and it's not knitting. It's like the two of them together.
So our friend Ben Burchell, who has the Tunisian crochet channel, I think he's calling it that again. He's made some adjustments. So I know that he has a Fun with Tunisian Crochet on Facebook, which is a great Facebook group. So many people, thousands of people belong to that group. And then I will edit in the name of his channel, but he is a Tunisian crochet expert, and he and I FaceTime a lot. And we say Tunisian crochet is where knit meets crochet.
Yes.
It's the gray space in between.
It's a lot of fun.
Because sometimes there could be a bit of a divide between knitters and crocheters.
Yeah, this is like, it unifies the two together.
Yeah, we love it. So
we're all yarn lovers and fiber, fanatics.
Yeah, and it's something that we can all do.
Right.
It's not so easy to convert from crochet to knitting or knitting to crocheting. They are a little bit different. This is kind of in the middle.
Yeah, it's probably a great way to start crocheting.
I think so.
Because it's really simple. And it really, we make our shrugs that way for the charity, and we make other projects with it too. As a matter of fact, I have a huge poncho that I wear to work. We had gotten some yarn at Rhinebeck a couple years ago, and then we had some yarn store yarns, so I kind of made it like a memory poncho of things that we've done together, and it's huge. I should have brought it with me.
It's stunning. Well,
I love that.
Our car's packed.
And it's all Tunisian.
Because we brought a new display from Michelle's shop, and so we'll be in her shop tomorrow, and then we're going to be at Cutue Curls, Long Wharf Mall, all day on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
introducing our yarns.
The car was packed. We didn't really have enough room. You've designed some beautiful things with the Tunisian crochet.
I do love it. I have one in the works right now, so maybe I'll be able to share that by the next time we do the podcast. I hope I can finish it by then. We have so many things. It was so many notes from home to here. We're going to be sweating.
But we reached a good point now, because the Hayden's House Shrugs that we just completed this weekend is their last retreat for this season.
Right.
And we did like 150 shrugs for them.
Yeah, so it gives us an opportunity to be creative in other ways, and also to make some projects with our yarn to continue the fundraising for it, so we can keep supporting the charity and Hayden's House and Momcology and the hospitals and the individuals who ask us to send shrugs to their loved ones. So,
and now we're in Crossroads for Help. Crossroads for Hope. So Crossroads for Hope is a charity that's closest to us. It's probably a 6 or 7 minute drive from my house, and you pass it on the way home. And on our way up to Rhinebeck, we actually met at the halfway point, and we dropped off our first shipment for that organization. Crossroads for Hope is a community for families battling cancer, any kind of cancer, but we support the group that focuses on pediatric cancer. Mm-hmm. And like so many other things, especially when you're dealing with people who have health issues, we're still impacted by COVID. So many of their things are virtual.
Right.
And they have a calendar of events, but they're all virtual. And how they're welcoming new families, coincidentally, our Shrugs coincided with their beginning of welcome boxes, because they don't know when the virtual things are going to end.
Right.
They might continue them for a long time, hopefully soon have some in person, but with it being November and cold and flu season starting,
Right.
there's a good chance they won't even attempt anything in person until the spring. So they're now doing welcome boxes so that each new family who joins their community has tangible things that they all share, and our Shrugs were part of their first boxes going out to the moms who have kids in their program. So if you, what they're going to do, these are the more creative Shrugs. So if you went to Michael's and bought yarns, and well, I think our first episode we did talk a bit about different yarns
Getting
you can
big
use.
box yarns and how to combine them, and again, you can do the Shrugs however you want, but as long as they meet the criteria on the website for the size and the shape. But you can mix a lot of yarns, but we tend to use the bigger needles because we have to make so many.
And the size will be 29 by 55. That's like the perfect size for a one size fits most.
Yes.
It fits all differently. One size fits all
Right.
differently. And it's a nice size that they can unlace it and use it as a decent size throw
Right.
if they don't want to wear it. Or they can lace it as a shrug hug, which is our circular.
Right. Something to throw
version,
right
like
over
a
your
poncho.
shoulders and just kind of wrap up in.
Like a
Easily.
infinity shawl, if
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
call it that. So it was exciting, and the way that they're going to handle it is their first phone call they have with the new families. Rachel's going to ask the mom what her favorite color is, and then we'll try to make sure they have those Shrugs in stock
Right.
so she can get a color she likes, because they won't be picking them in person. When they have their in-person events, they'll have a big basket of Shrugs, and new moms can pick their
Right.
favorite, but for now we're going to try to do it this way. So that was exciting, and that was
Yes.
new news.
Yep.
And we have Momcology Shrugs going out.
Yep.
Thanksgiving week, some are going out to Momcology staff members. A thank you from the women who run the whole organization.
Right.
They have some special volunteers they want to thank, so they're getting some. And then January is their next virtual retreat for moms.
So we're not done yet.
No, so we always
Not
have
done.
something. We're just switching colors because
Yes.
Momcology is, we've talked about in the past, they like our Hope colorway.
But
for
the
them.
winter gives us a little chance to get a jump on the season for when they begin the new meetings with the moms and stuff, so that we can provide for everybody, because we do the hospitals all year, but it'll give us a chance to maybe get a little bit ahead for the retreats.
Yeah, especially Hayden's house, which was a real,
And you had a chance
Challenge.
to also be creative.
as we keep doing new yarns. So we can show you our new things that we're bringing to Michelle's tomorrow. And it's hard for me to read with these glasses, so if I get a name
I
wrong.
might read it.
So we decided, so many dyers work with mini skeins.
Yes, that seems to be very popular by us.
And it was not all my idea. Our friend BJ, who was with us at the Sheep and Wool Festival, was saying how there was one girl who created different stitch patterns for different things that she assigned different stitch patterns to, I forget what she did exactly, but different events. And that was an interesting idea, but for us as designers, it drives me crazy when things are not like even.
Right.
So I was trying to come up with different stitch patterns maybe for our favorite activities in Newport. But if there's a rib, if there's a cable, they all kind of measure out differently.
Kind of like a sampler cowl, where each one is a different stitch. Like there's different sections of different patterns in the cowl.
That's the perfect way to describe
Yeah.
it. But we were
But again, like Mary was saying, some of them are tighter and some of them are looser, so your cowl kind of goes in and out.
certain ribs pull in a lot more, and lacework might be wider, and stockinette might be. So it was getting complicated, and we really wanted to get this ready for now. So we decided to assign a different color, a different special color for some of our favorite things in Newport. And this is so much fun because we can keep adding to it.
Oh yeah.
And now we're trying to come up with different things quickly to do. So we have different mini skeins.
These are, again, some of our favorite places here.
So this is, it's upside down, Shopping on Thames Street, which is right outside. I don't know if shopping on Thames Street. So we went with we tried to make like brick red kind of colors because there's a lot of brick buildings and brick alley pub, and it just seemed like, in fact, there's a brick building
right next to us, right behind us,
so,
across the street.
So we kind of picked those colors for that. Then we have another popular thing that we've never done, actually.
Yeah, it's so funny. You know, you would think we would.
The International Tennis Hall of Fame, which I think last time we were here, there was some event going on there.
There was a big thing going on. We hear it because we go to Stop and Shop, which is right behind it.
And we could hear all this.
So we always hear the big events going on. It sounds like so much fun, but we got to drag our groceries home.
So this colorway, obviously green for the tennis courts, but then the colors of the buildings that we mentioned in our little drive around tour last time used to be called the Casino, and it was sort of like the country club place for people to hang out. So those are the colors we picked for that. Then we have our favorite, Newport Bridge, which always makes me happy. So we went with the bridge is made of steel, so like a steel gray and the blue for the water. It was challenging because there's so much blue in Newport, whether it's big sky or the water. So we had to be creative with some of them. Like this one, everybody knows we like to drive on Ocean Drive and hunt for Jay Leno, where his house is. So this is Scenic Ocean Drive. These are all little mini skeins. And then we have, of course, Tour of the Mansions.
Yeah, which for me, this is so breakers.
Those look nice on you, those colors,
Oh
too.
my gosh, it's so gorgeous. I absolutely love this one. It might be my favorite.
And with us, too, we're sitting and trying to, plan these colors. So it took time to plan the colors. It took time to do the dyeing. It took time to come up with and I think we did it in 3 weeks. And I did take 3 days to visit my daughter in the city. So I had to do double time. This is called Historic Walking Tour. And I might tweak that a little bit. I was talking to Kath, we might add some cranberry or some blue in there, but those are our historical colors. And then here's our favorite.
Yeah, that was where we almost dropped the camera in the water.
Oh yeah, that was a good memory.
Yeah.
So here's our Queen Anne Square. And again, when I think Queen Anne Square, I think of the big lawn. I think of big blue sky, but too much. I tried to go with Queen Anne Square more like a springtime, with some green and the colors that might be on the trees or whatever. Then, Kath, our favorite, which we're going to try to do, but not in the daylight, probably.
Oh, yeah.
The cliff walk.
We love the cliff walk. Usually when we come to Newport for a couple of days, I go home 2 pounds lighter.
We do a lot of walking.
We do.
And we don't focus so much on eating. We just kind of eat whatever.
We just want to be out there. It's so beautiful. We do so much walking here.
So lots of blues for the water, the sky, some pops of green because there's all the big lawns. And I tried to leave little pieces of white too for just the sky and the clouds.
I don't know if you can
so that's our cliff walk.
see it in there.
And then a lot of people, which will never do this, but beach day. A lot of people come to Newport and actually go to the beach.
Most people go to the beach. Not us.
I mean, we're so happy because we're here. I have a jacket on. Kath's not wearing a jacket,
Nope.
but it's pretty chilly.
Hot flashes. But that's the beach, which we do pass all the time when we see it on the cliff walk.
We do. We say, "Oh, look,
but
look at the waves."
Go jumping into a bathing suit.
Yeah, and we say, "Oh, Johnny and Eddie would like to surf in those."
They
waves.
would.
But
we would watch them from the cliff walk.
We don't do that now. We're hot enough all the time. We don't need to sit on the beach.
Yeah, no.
Then
it's November and I'm thrilled.
So happy.
No coat.
We got here and the people who own this condo were so nice. They had the heat on for us. We come in, we turn the heat off, opened up the windows. So we'll be able to sleep. Harbor cruise. There are lots of harbor cruises that people go on. Some of them are they have drinks and cocktails and
because we're right on the harbor.
Do the tours.
Right there.
Yeah, we will show you guys a
the
little
view.
bit more. But you can literally see the harbor, which is, people like to go to the wharf and watch the sunset. That's a big, they have beautiful sunsets in the summer. So this is harbor sunset. And it's beautiful.
So you get that beautiful orangey kind of sun and against the water. It's really beautiful.
It's so nice because sitting here, you can see the water and you can see that over there, that land is where the man was playing the bongos.
Oh yeah.
And
where
that
we
was
filmed in the summer.
King Park, I believe that was called. And it's over there, so nice. Now, part of my story was the winter I spent in this building. And again, my husband would come up on the weekends. There was always kids who were either, like Katie, she's a virtual. It's from all of our walking.
No, it's because
all
I
of our
swallowed
talking.
the last Newport bug when I came up here, and I've been choking ever since.
We come up and Kat's like, look at that.
And I've been coughing since I swallowed the bug.
Well, you've been doing good because we've been already chittering away.
I think he's trying to come back to life.
So, my first full winter here, when I was alone a little bit more, at least during the week, because at this point Molly was working, Katie was working, the winter I was here, and it was just me and my dog Maya. So you both okay? It's okay.
Sorry.
Should I pause?
No, just keep
You
going.
okay? We got here and didn't even take a sip of water. We wanted to beat it was still light out.
Yes, well, the bug.
And we didn't bring water. We have to get some at Stop and
Yes.
Shop. We will hydrate when we're done with all this. But that particular winter, I was here with my dog Monday through Friday, and the family would visit on the weekends, or I'd go home for the weekends because I had this condo for like 5 months. And I would get up in the morning and walk down the street and volunteer for a charity called the Confetti Foundation. And this is before we had Hugs Through Shrugs, and it's a very important part of our story. And if you saw our YouTube video about our story, the beginning of it is I didn't know what to do with my time, and I found this brand new charity that was just starting, and I would volunteer from 9 to 3 every day, just walk right down the street with the shops opening up on the beautiful cobblestone Thames Street, shopkeepers opening up, and I'd walk and pitch in with these two wonderful girls, Sierra, who was one of Stephanie's helpers, and Stephanie Fraser Grimm, who founded the Confetti Foundation. They ship and deliver birthday party supplies to children's hospitals. So if a child has a birthday while hospitalized, Child Life always has party supplies. So it really does help to have these supplies handy.
Right.
And
because a lot of kids wind up spending their birthday in the hospital.
they've done thousands. When we first started, that winter that I was here, or maybe in the second winter I was here helping, I remember when we flipped the numbers to 2,000.
Wow.
And Sierra and Stephanie was not there the day that we were packing the boxes, and we sent her a video. Here we go. We flipped it over. And it was just so much fun to watch these girls build this idea into something so meaningful.
Right.
It's Stephanie happens to be a high-end party planner. She does weddings and very formal events. She's very good at what she does. But she took her skill for party planning to do something for
others.
children. And she got the idea when her godson was hospitalized, and she was spending a lot of time going back and forth to the hospital, and she just thought, what do they do on birthdays? Because I think Stephanie spent like her 13th birthday in the hospital, and it just went kind of unnoticed, and she remembered that. So part of her story is making a difference now in the world.
Right.
And she's been recognized by so many important people, and Confetti Foundation's a very important part. And we did a colorway for them. And on the Confetti Foundation tag, it says what they do and their website. So if you would like to donate party supplies, birthday party supplies, Stephanie has a very specific list. And I think they even have an Amazon wish list where you can send directly what they need. And that's to honor Confetti and that important part of our story, because it was me helping them where I started really seeing how many kids are very
In
ill
the hospital.
and not always coming home from the hospital.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, Stephanie's doing her important part. She's so great at putting on a happy face and bringing parties to these kids, but I'm noticing the moms and
Tired.
Yeah,
Stressed.
carrying so much of the weight. And what's part of my story is knitting, because we had a yarn store and we know about prayer shawls, and it kind of started with prayer shawls and has morphed it more into our own thing, which is our Shrugs that can be converted into the blankets for the moms.
Right.
So that's just a little piece of our story. And then the last important part, and I have 4 here, I don't know what I did. In the very beginning, Michelle Brennan at Knitting Needles welcomed me in, and at first it was just raising some money for this idea that I had with the toiletry items and stuff that we were putting in the care packages. But in the beginning it was prayer shawls, and then we kind of morphed it into this idea with the blanket sweaters, and it was sitting with Michelle in her shop that we came up with sending hugs through Shrugs. So this is our yarn shopping at Knitting Needles color.
Yeah.
And it is the color of our charity, the purple and green, where the whole thing started.
And continues to help us because they are selling our yarns.
Yeah, and she's always been so generous with helping highlight what we do.
Yep.
And always
and her
welcoming
knitters
us.
making shrugs for us as well.
She always has Shrugs for us. And now she's doing such a nice job, putting our yarns out there for the public to see. And we have a couple more colors, and we created a kit. I'm starting to get cold, I'm stuttering. We created a kit, and I finished it last night, so that's why we didn't come until today, and I still have tails to weave in. But it's going to be like Kat said, like memory, what did you say before, memory?
Well, this is going to be like when you come to Newport and we all visit different things that we love, and these are some of the places we love. Well, if you've been to Thames Street shopping, then you could buy the yarn that you were there. So the places you visit, we try to match up with the yarn.
And Kat came up with a great idea to call it
Knitting Your Trip.
So it's called, these are our Knit Your Trip skeins.
Yeah.
So you pick 6 of your favorite activities.
Right. Places you visited when you were here.
And we'll show you some clips from Michelle's when we set up the display, but we have a bag with the pattern and little stitch holders or stoppers for the needles, and a stitch marker that we laser engrave, little stitch markers with our logo on it. And it's a simple cowl. Ignore the tails that are hanging out the bottom. They will be put in before we take it to Michelle's, but it's a circular cowl with your simple color changes, and I ripped this out like 5 times because we wanted to keep it simple. Right. So this is just a circle. It's 120 stitches, and you have this braiding, little simple braiding technique, and we're going to do a tutorial, and it'll help you with modifying it if you would prefer to have it more narrow but longer. One of the ones had some increases if you wanted to make it a little more shapely, which complicates the braiding a little bit. Right. But again, we try to bring you unique yarns that have a story, that are different, and we literally dye these. We have a whole bag full that we will be tagging tonight. So we do all this ourselves, and we try to keep the patterns easy.
Right. But also, when it comes to hand-dyed yarn, it's the highlight is the fact that they're hand-dyed, and you want that to be emphasized or to show it off when you do your projects. So we don't do an overcomplicated pattern. It's more because it can get lost in hand-dyed yarn because there's color changes all over.
That is true.
So we keep the pattern simple, and what makes it shine is the fact that it's hand-dyed.
And we just enjoy knitting. Kat gets creative with some designing, and we hope to have some patterns, different things with Tunisian crochet. We have some different ideas, and knitting, because that's our foundation is knitting.
And we do that too. So, our kits are not just for Tunisian.
But typically, patterns that come with our yarns, when we kit them up, we try to keep them simple.
Yes, yeah.
And we try to help you use as much of the yarn,
as possible.
No waste.
Right.
So we do have some it does come with a mohair skein. I dyed it in neutrals. We're calling it Newport Neutral, and it's a 457 yard lace weight mohair, silken mohair, and we just put a pale wash over it to tone it down a little bit, because the undyed mohair was just standing out a little bit too much on these yarns. So it's sort of like a pale gray and a mid-tone gray and a kind of a pinky color all blended in the mohair. So you get a skein of mohair and your stitch marker and little stoppers in the tutorial. And I think we said $65 for and 6 of the mini skeins.
Right.
So, and the mohair, a whole
yeah, and you can pick whatever 6 you want. Where did you go? Or you could do just the colors you like. That's up to you. But we thought it would be fun to knit your trip. So where'd you go?
Such a
Pick
good
the
idea.
colors that you went to and plop them in the bag. And everyone will be different. You could do them in the order that you visited. So it's kind of like you have a unique finished project.
Yeah, and it's your trip. It's like your memory calendar.
Yeah.
So
every time you put it on, you'll think about Newport. Every time I put on my shawl, my poncho, I think of Rhinebeck, and I think of our store, and I think of my sister, and it's my memory. I call it my memory poncho. So this is like your memory, your Newport project.
So that's our latest, trip? And we pulled it off. And we're
Yeah.
here, and now we have a date with Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, yes.
So we will.
We're gonna miss him. So we're gonna wrap this up for now, but maybe what we'll do is we'll wait for the sun to come up tomorrow, and we'll give you a view of our view here, because it's really beautiful, and we can see the harbor and everything in the church, and it's really gorgeous. So we'll whip around here, and we might even get some footage in Michelle's shop, and then maybe at Cutue Curls, and so maybe we'll put some add-ons in here later. But
our hope is to get a walk in on the cliff walk. Maybe get some.
Yes, at some point.
You can see there's still
not
leaves.
today.
I mean, considering it's November, there are a lot of leaves on the trees.
Yeah,
and they're just really starting to turn, but they look beautiful. So we'll try to get some. Last time it was summer footage, and this time we'll give you some.
Yeah, it's gorgeous with the fall. It's really beautiful here.
So
anyway, that's what's going on with us, and we're going to be adding more, so we will see you later. Bye.
Bye. We should address the way bigger change of scenery than you guys realize.
No, we're not on the roof anymore.
We're not, and we're not in Newport right now either.
We're not in Newport anymore.
Currently, we are in Roxbury, New York. This is
right.
a week after our recording began, but we will fill you in on our Newport trip.
Yes.
But we're actually now vending at the Christy Glass Knit and Escape in Roxbury.
Right.
And we really didn't have a minute when we were in Newport.
It was nonstop. We were jumping from one thing to the next, and we wound up spending 4 or 5 hours somewhere. We thought we'd be there for 45 minutes. So, and loving it. So, we just didn't have time to wind up podcasting at the end of the night when we would flop down in bed and fall asleep.
But we took some pictures.
Yeah.
So, and we haven't forgotten that we didn't address Rhinebeck. And we will talk about Rhinebeck.
Too.
Not that there's a ton to talk about because we were not vendors there, but just for those of you who didn't make it for whatever reason, we could talk about that. But we are going, let's focus on Newport first because we'll put in some pictures.
Yeah.
And so after Anderson Cooper, we were up knitting kind of late and getting ready for Michelle's.
Right.
Which we did on Friday. Not realizing it was her anniversary.
Right, yes. It was, she was just starting her 7th year. So she's had her store for 6 full years.
We wound up being, like Kat said, at Michelle's, I don't know, 4 hours?
Well, her husband John came and brought all this food, and we had a little celebration, and I never had met John before, so he was really very interesting, and we wound up having such good, food, conversation.
Customers
came
in
forever.
So we did say
Lynn,
in. Ginny, and Lanny.
Yeah,
I think were their names.
Yep.
We spent a lot of time with them, nice ladies, and we did tell them about the podcast we have, and we said we would mention their names. Everybody's just so supportive. And we are finding that here at Christy Glass too. We'll get to that in a little while.
Nicest people. Just like at New Jersey Sheep and Wool, though.
And
that was
Rhinebeck.
amazing.
So don't you love being a knitter?
Yeah, we have a great community.
Or a crocheter, because we predominantly now we're Tunisian crocheters.
Right.
So we're really in the smallest
category. Somewhere between both.
But boy, does it strikes up the most fun conversations when you're just talking with people about what you love to do.
Yeah.
And so we had a good time.
Yeah.
With Michelle.
And we put the new display up.
Oh yeah. So we have pictures, and we had some nice walks, and not realizing they are filming Hocus Pocus 2. Mm-hmm. Like, my kids grew up watching Hocus Pocus. It was one of their favorite Halloween movies.
I love that movie.
So that's with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy, I don't know how to say her last name, Najimy. Najimy, I think is how you spell it. So they're filming Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
So boy, was the town nutty with all kinds of people. And we didn't know what was going on. We're walking around and we're like, are they setting up for a carnival?
Yeah. I think they're going to have a craft fair.
And I'm just so smart. I'm like, Kath, it's got to be a carnival because they have ducks in that booth. And I don't know really what the
ducks are for, but maybe we'll see it in the movie.
Yeah, so, anyway, not smart. It's not a carnival. It's a movie set. Right. This has been a rough weekend here in Roxbury. Pouring rain.
Yeah.
And I said
Still fun.
So Kath and I
Still
are trying
fun.
to think of a way to segue into here we are a week later. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so if we look older, and Kath says, and wiser. But you could tell we look a lot more tired.
And we've been running around for weeks, and it started at Rhinebeck, where Rhinebeck was supposed to be, because we had gone to Newport a couple weeks before that and had put all the new yarns in, and so when we went to Rhinebeck, that was our way of having a girls' weekend, and there was going to be no work involved, and we were going to go shopping, and this was going to be awesome. So we go out to eat Newport Creamer. No, that's Newport. Rhinebeck, we get there, we settle into our
diner,
room.
a nice diner. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
but we've been
good
there before.
food. I think we both got BLTs.
Nice
Loved
people.
it. Excellent service. We're like, yeah, this is so much fun.
We're back.
Yeah, woo! So then I go back to the room, and within an hour, I am violently ill. And I mean violently ill.
I'm looking at Kat sitting
all
on the bed,
night.
and I'm like, okay, let's start now. I have all this stuff I have to show you, and I'm looking at her, and she's looking less and less happy.
I'm sick.
I don't feel so good. I'm like, oh my God. First thing I think is COVID. Do you have COVID?
And I'm thinking maybe food poisoning, but it wasn't. The food was delicious. It was not that.
It was simply the massive stomach bug that was going around.
Which I found out when I went back to school on Monday, because it was only a 24-hour thing, horrible 24 hours. When I went back to school, 2 other people of the adults in my class had it, and 3 of the kids had it, and that went on for a week. When I'd be walking through the hall, all I would see are aides or teachers walking students down to the nurse's office carrying garbage cans. So this was, just a horror show.
It was rough.
Our break, Rhinebeck, our treat, our reward.
You did sleep. When you were so tired, you did sleep, which is rare. And you rallied, so we got to Rhinebeck Saturday morning.
Yeah. I thought I rallied.
You hit a wall, but we got 4 hours in.
We did.
And it was a little bit different. You could see definitely less vendors.
Yeah, well, and they were definitely less vendors and spaced out more, and I think that it was less people coming, the vendors coming, and also I think they were doing that on purpose. Maybe they even scheduled less so that they could space them better. And the barns were, you went in one way and out the other, like maybe you went in this way in this barn and that way in the next barn, so that helped make me feel a little safer.
One way, they did reroutes.
Yeah, lots of
hand
sanitizers.
Masks in the barns, but not
in the
outside.
barns, right? So, it made me feel a lot better.
And there were a lot of people.
They did a good job.
Maybe we're a little scarred from COVID and not being out in groups, but it was a plenty big crowd for me. I thought it was, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was busy.
I have to say, for Rhinebeck, it was almost, minus the masks, if you didn't have them on, it would have been what I would consider ideal Rhinebeck. Like, not as many people.
Well, I'd say Saturday.
And you could really spend time with the vendors and really see all their stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I've been in the barn and you're walking through there like a sardine.
No. I would say
it was lovely.
Saturday
felt like a
typical Sunday.
Yeah. Right, Sunday at Rhinebeck is really
much better for shopping.
Nobody really stays, but it's like the best if you do, because you just have all the vendors to yourself. There's no crowds. There's no line for the bathroom.
It's still busy.
Right, still, but it's way better.
It's just way less crowded.
It's
and
lovely.
I would say that's how Saturday felt.
It was.
And then you hit a wall around 1:30
I just
or 2.
got exhausted, I think, because I was so depleted, but that's
Which
all.
was fine.
Yeah.
Because rain was coming.
Yeah.
So for that weekend, too, that could have had something to do with the crowds. Maybe people held off because really the rain was supposed to hit sooner. And boy, when that rain hit.
It did.
About 3:30 or so.
Yeah.
Monsoon.
I mean, it kind of worked out that we lucked out that we got back to the room before it started.
Exactly. We got
'Cause
out of the crowd, out of the parking
out.
lot. And then Sunday we went back again for a
We
few
did,
hours.
and I was completely better by Sunday. So, and that's when I ran into the lady from Bead Biz, and I got that Tunisian kit with beads, and that's the project I'm going to start working on, and hopefully work beads into one of our next Tunisian projects. So I'm excited about that.
And while we're talking about Tunisian projects, I just want to insert this in here because we do hand dye yarn, and maybe we can insert real quick here too. If this is the first time you're watching an episode, which we did meet a lot of people yesterday when we were vending, and Hugs or Shrugs is a charity that supports moms whose lives have been affected by pediatric cancer. We raise money for our mission selling hand-dyed yarn.
Right.
And we also like to give you ideas of what to do with the different yarns.
Right.
They're really one of a kind. We don't mass produce, although now these Newport yarns, we are a little more formula regimented, so we can repeat things.
Right. Because each mansion has unique colors that are representing it.
Yeah, so we try to stick with the same color families. We support the moms by shipping and delivering hand knit or crocheted shrugs. And a shrug is a blanket sweater. It's a rectangle that measures about, I'd say like maybe 27, 28 inches by 55 to 57 inches. That makes a one size fits all differently blanket sweater, or the moms can unlace. We don't sew, we lace the sleeves closed, and they can unlace it and use it as a small blanket if they're receiving it as a care package in the hospital. When we ship and deliver to places that are using our shrugs as part of like support groups.
This is one of our shrugs, and these are the colors from Oncology. Like this is their.
This is Hope. So this is Hope, and it is cozy. This is a Tunisian crochet. So those of you knit and escape ladies who saw yesterday.
Yep. That's the Tunisian stitch.
And you can see makes a nice blanket.
And we do a little cuff on the top, and it makes a great Afghan. And then we lace it closed so that you could wear it as a shrug.
Yeah, we do a border that makes like a collar,
right,
and a bottom. And depending on which way you're doing it, there's more information on the website. But this is what we have volunteers make.
Yep.
And then there's simply you fold the corners towards the center, and you do a little lacing. And that forms the sleeve.
And the ladies, a lot of ladies took our I was gonna say recipe. Oh my God, our pattern for the shrug snugs. So, and we told them about printing out the PDF, so they could sign their name on the card, and they're gonna send us some shrug snugs. And somebody here at Knit and Escape knew we were coming, and she brought us shrug snugs.
Yes.
So we really appreciate it. And those
has bought our yarns in Newport.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's so. We are just seeing people everywhere. It's really
like
nice.
So there's our shrugs. That's what the charity does. We will see a lot of the same attendees tonight. We're going to be vending again. They switched our time to 5 o'clock, so I guess we'll head over there about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we don't have many pictures. I will try to take a couple. It's been raining.
Yes.
It's been, I can't imagine, Christy Glass and Eve Ashworth, the stress of having 80 attendees here and a handful of vendors.
Yeah, but they bob, they weave, and you know what? We vended yesterday, and it was really lovely.
Where we were supposed to be originally outside under a tent, they gave us an enclosed tent, but then that parking lot was getting very wet, and there were girls there the night before. That didn't work, so they pivoted and put us inside, and that's working, and you know, everybody's just happy to be here, so everything's working out.
Yeah, and the people at the Roxbury are so nice.
I don't know how these Saturday afternoon vendors fared. They were vending at this, I think it's pronounced Pakatan Marketplace, which is about 8 miles outside of Roxbury. We'll find out later how that went.
Because it's been pouring and quite cold today.
Oh, and yes, we're getting snow.
Yeah, when we get there, it's supposed to be snowing. So
it's,
we'll deal. Bob and weave.
I think it's like 2:30. So we'll be setting up for a 5 o'clock vending slot, not 6 to 9, now 5 to 7. So we'll get back here a little bit earlier too. But Knit and Escape, everybody's having such a good time. The energy is good. People have been friendly. We did really well. Such nice support. We're going back, putting some more money in the charity's bank account.
We had a good time. And I never met Marion from Marionated Yarns.
She's sweet.
So nice. And her I guess partner or friend, whatever, Monica, who was helping her, very nice. just lovely people.
When
Really
you're,
nice
you're like
customers.
the newbies on the block, like we're really a charity. So like we come here and we say hugs through Shrugs. Shrug Hug Yarns is, came in a little bit later when we realized, wow, the charity's kind of taking off and we need funding.
Right.
So, well, what do we enjoy doing? We've talked about this before. We don't want to have a golf outing. We don't golf. We don't want to have a dinner. That makes us uncomfortable. I'm more of an introvert. I like being home. So what can we do that we could commit to? Dyeing yarn is easy for us. And because of the experience that I have in the past dyeing things, this works for us. But as the new kids on the block, when you look at the vendors and we're going to be in a room with like dyeing celebrities like Marion, you go in a little nervous, but everybody's so nice.
They're so welcoming and helpful and supportive.
Make us feel like we fit in.
Yeah.
So that was, we feel a lot more at ease going back. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, it's going to be
And even
fun.
if it's raining and we're, resetting up in the rain and stuff, we're all in it together.
Yep.
And
it's an adventure.
It's an adventure. So we're having a good time doing that. And we're
Yeah.
happy to say that we are staying busy. So
Yeah.
thank you for helping us stay
And thank
busy.
you to everybody who bought our yarn in all these different events and for supporting us, because that's what's keeping us going.
And happy anniversary, Michelle, who
Yay.
we got to sit and spend a lot of time with Michelle and her husband, John. And we learned that although Michelle's only owned knitting needles, she's been there 6 years now, starting her 7th year. She took over the business for a woman who started knitting needles. And there's a real long story there. And it would be really fun to have Michelle and John on. And maybe next time we go. But knitting needles is actually a 25-year-old business.
Right.
A yarn shop that's been around for 25 years. That's a huge accomplishment. So
It is.
happy anniversary.
A lot of loyal knitters in Newport.
Yeah, we're happy to be a part of the Knitting Needles family.
So, all right, everybody. If we don't, I'm sure we'll see you for the next episode, which will probably be aired before Christmas, I would think.
Yeah,
so hopefully
so-
we'll get that out to you guys. And if not, have a good holiday season. If we don't speak to you till
And
after.
for those of you who bought our kits yesterday at Knit and Escape, we're doing the bit.ly link right now. So your lesson is going to be filmed right now.
Yep.
We
And we're
promised
on
you.
it.
Give us a couple days to make it live.
All right. So
So-
everybody, take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.